It's good when you're going through things. You have somebody to talk to that won't judge you, but lead you in the right direction. I was going through some stuff and I talked to Mama. Mama sat there and listened. And she asked me, said, "But did you pray?" I said, "Yeah." And Mama told me like this. She said, "If you're gonna let him have it, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Jesus is the man all by himself. If you're gonna let him have it, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Jesus is the man all by himself." Y'all don't like my song. Listen. I was going through some things in my life. I tried to fix it, but it just didn't go right. Mama said, "Take your burdens to the Lord. Take it to him in prayer." She said, "And when you take it to the altar and leave it there." Then Mama told me like this, "If you're gonna let him have it, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Jesus is the man all by himself." Do y'all hear me in here? If you're gonna let him have it, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Jesus is the man all by himself. One more thing, listen. One day I got real sick and I didn't know what to do. Mama said, "Tell him that he'll fix that too." I said, "Mama, I've been taking all kind of medicine. It seemed like nothing would help." Mama said, "Did you pray and ask God for your healing?" I said, "Yeah, I still need a little help." Mama said, "What? If you're gonna let him have it, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Why? Jesus is the man all by himself." Mama said, If you're gonna let him have it, oh, don't you go back and grab it. In other words, what Mama was trying to tell me, put your hand together like this. What Mama was trying to tell me, she said, "Boy, God is. Jesus is the man. God is. Jesus is the man. Do y'all know what I'm talking about here? Jesus is the man. God is. Jesus is the man. He walked out on water. Jesus is the man. Calm the rain the sea. Jesus is the man. Look what he done for me. What? Jesus is the man. One more time. Y'all sing with me. I'm gonna say, if you're gonna let him have it, everybody reach out and say, don't you go back and grab it. He don't need your help. Jesus is the man all by himself. Mama said, boy, if you're gonna let him have it, boy, don't you go back and grab it. Do y'all believe that Jesus got everything? If you believe it, come on, boy. God is. Jesus is the man. God is. Jesus is the man. I need one witness here. Jesus is the man. That know God is. Jesus is the man. He can do anything but fail. Jesus is the man. Oh, God is. Jesus is the man. Everybody help me say, yeah. God is. He's the man. Yeah. I know. He's the man. Yeah.
Everybody, that was Mr. Adam Pringle. And so without further ado, we are about to get ready to bring up the young man of the hour. Been waiting to do this for a long time. And my audio was a little funny tonight because got a little things going on, but I was always told the show must go on. And we going on. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody of all ages, age groups, all religions, whatever you want to call it. My good friend, Mr. Alan Pringle, the gospel legend. Give him a great big hand. Good evening.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Home.
It's been a long time coming.
Well, I didn't think you were gonna ever come on.
Uh,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
here. I'm here. Yeah. I'm-
All right, so let's just go and get on to it. So basically, all of this is we just have a conversation. We talk, we rap, you know.
yeah, let's do it.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. How was it growing up? Tell me where you're from and all that good little stuff.
Well, from Columbia, South Carolina. Most of my life, we moved down close to Hopkins. It was still considered Columbia, but school, all of my schools and stuff, we had to go to Hopkins Elementary, Middle, and Lower Richland, and all of that. Down where Roy and Revelation and the Mickens, all of us went to the same schools. So I'm much older than them, but I've known the Latsons and the Mickens all my life, and they knew my parents before any of them even got married. So it goes back a long ways, and always been in the church. My mom and dad was quartet singers. Matter of fact, they met singing on a quartet group, so it's just in us to do it. And he was a firm a firm singer. You had to do it right or don't do it at all. Well, it wasn't a choice of don't do it at all. You just had to do it right because you didn't have the option of you didn't want to do it. And he was a pastor and, like I said, a quartet singer. And all our life we sung. We sung and worked and sung and revivals. And that's just mainly my childhood has been always something to do with the church.
Always.
Always. Yeah, it wasn't no choice. It wasn't no choice whether you wanted to go to church or I used to hate strong word, but it is what it is. When we would have Bible study or Sunday school, no other kids wanted to read or explain it, and we would never study that book, that little book, that that Sunday school book. We're gonna get Brother Allen to read and tell us what that means to him. And I used to hate that, man. Because you know what they said, that reading out loud. That reading out loud different, boy. You would see the girls in the church laughing. That reading out loud, boy. My mouth wasn't following my eyes. So so he used to do stuff like that, but made us do that. And even with our family group, the meditation, which was singing started in the 60s, but I ended up playing with the group back in 79. When I was 3 years old, I was playing drums in 79. I know that sounds like a long time ago, but and that's what I never wanted to be no singer. I just wanted to be a musician. So that's my life. That's how it's been.
And you got any siblings? I know you got Scott, but you got any more other siblings?
Yeah, man. It was 10 of us. We lost a brother back in, I want to say, 2006. Michael, he got killed, but it's 9 of us.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah. It's 9, and Pat, Scott, and myself, we are the youngest of the crew. Yeah, we the youngest.
Do the other ones they do music too, or
Not a lick. Not a lick. No. They well, when we came along, they was almost grown. Like they're in their late 60s now. So they was grown and doing other things, having families. So but they couldn't sing anyway. My oldest brother tried to preach, but I guess he gave up that cross. But yeah, but that's about it. That's all. That's all.
it always been us three that was pushed to sing.
Did you do any singing in school?
Man, we had a little R&B group. We were trying to. We had, man, and actually we had a deal, but I couldn't do it. I felt funny singing it, so because I ain't meant nothing I was saying about what I want to do for no woman. I ain't meant it, so I didn't go through with it. So so some of the members from the R&B group came over to the Gospel Legends. Now I'm gonna be honest, I was straddling the fence. I was trying to do whatever was gonna take off. That's what I was gonna do. But I got it. I just felt when I did my I felt funny, man. I know I'm lying. I ain't doing all this. So that's how that went, and we ended up we did a talent show and we won. Like it wasn't no competition, and got in the studio to do the single, and man, they offered all this money and stuff, man. And I asked my mom and dad. My mama was the one that was against it, but my daddy, he was like, whatever make your heart, what's in your heart, do it. So yeah, I went as far as going to the studio, but it just didn't feel right. So I stayed on the Lord, I won't say that. I stayed on the Lord's side. Yeah.
You playing an instrument?
Yeah, I play a few things. I play bass, lead guitar, drums, keyboard, and organ. And when you say keyboard and organ, people say, "Hey, that's the same thing." No, it ain't the same thing. No. So yeah, I play a little bit to get by.
Did you play in church and stuff growing up?
Yeah. That's one of them things he made us do. We had to play in church. We had to play in the church he pastored until you was 18, or at his house.
Was y'all getting paid?
Paid? You said what? Did we get paid? Man, let me tell you, paid, boy. That's almost cussing in the house. Saying get paid. Yeah, you got paid. All right. Yeah. That roof over your head. Yeah, we did get. Now, when they would have the anniversary, like choir anniversaries or something like that, I mean, them $25 was great, man.
Yeah.
I used to go to school and get it. Didn't eat no school lunch. Got canteen. That. And I had a choir anniversary. Pocket a little heavy, but yeah, we didn't get paid until I left, and I left at age 17. I left. Well, I ain't left. He kicked me out, but yeah, I left, and that's when I went and started playing for my grandmother's church, and they was paying me $25 a Sunday, man, and I thought that was great because I was playing for years for nothing. So then when I moved, I left there and went to another church, St. John Baptist Church in Hopkins. I played there for about 2 to 3 years, and then I went to Augusta and played for a church down there for close to a year. Then I came back to Columbia to Gunners Chapel Baptist Church, and I was the minister of music at that church for about 18 years. And that's where I retired from being minister of music from that church.
Would you ever start playing at the church?
Say it again?
I said, would you ever start back playing at church?
Well, I play at my wife's church when I'm off. That's very rare, but I plays up there, but that's enough for me. I don't desire being a minister of music anymore. I think I had my fair share of that. It's somebody else's turn. Because I couldn't do it anyway because we travel so much, so I wouldn't be there no good to a church other than when I'm off, and that's very rare. So yeah, but you never know. If I retire from this, whenever I decide to just call it quit singing, I might consider.
Strong mic.
Yeah, I don't know how strong, but it might. Yeah, yeah. You got to have a different kind of umph in you, minister of music, and playing in the church, and you got to make all the engagements and all of that stuff. It's good money, but it's a lot come with it that a lot of people don't know. You have to be there for that Bible study. You have to be there for that choir practice and that morning prayer on Saturday mornings. And yeah, it's good money, but you do work for it. So don't think your minister of music not doing anything. He working for it. Oh yeah.
I can't do it. I ain't gonna even try.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's man. And when Scott quit about 6 years before me, and he kept saying, "Man, you couldn't get me be no minister of music anymore." And I was like, "Man, you crazy." Yeah. It'd be a lot, but I thank God for the experience because it opens, like me being a quartet singer. It opens you up to other avenues of gospel music because you have to do the praise and worship and the choirs, and it just open you to other sounds of the gospel. So I thank God for that experience, and I love choirs too, direct the choirs and stuff like that. So I thank God for that for that opportunity that He gave me to do that.
Okay. So, if you can remember, who was the first group you ever had a chance to play for, like traveling wise?
The first group was the Angelic Gospel Singers, Margaret Allison and Angelics. I think I started with them when I was 19, and I played with them for 7 years. 7 years. And I'm telling you, that was a great time, and I'm gonna be honest, Angelics wasn't a group that I ever paid attention to on the program. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
They would be on the big shows, and to me, it was hot dog time when I said, "Oh, that's the Angelics." I'm going back. But that's because sometimes when you're young, you just think one way. You don't understand that these people is the reason why you like the Keynotes and the Clouds, the Williams brothers. These people had million sellers before some of them was even born. So
Right.
And by me being with Babe, Miss Margaret, oh man, when I say a teacher and just hear the stories of the stuff that they went through and things and that sort, uh, it gives me a better understanding of singing quartet. I respect quartet. I respect the lane that we're in because it's so much that has happened for the groups like the Cantons and the Mickens and Lisa Knowles. There's so many people that went through so much that I heard these stories of um, when they say they couldn't eat everywhere. And it wasn't just some places that they couldn't, it's just some places they would do stuff to their food, to make them sick and put rat poison in it. They would do all this kind of stuff. And they still went out every weekend to sing, sleeping in cars. And I respect that. That's why I try not to disrespect uh, this genre. Do what I can on my end. Do what I can in leading the gospel legends to have a standard of respect um, for the ones that paved the way and what they sacrificed for what I now do for a living. That they wasn't making the kind of money that we make now, and I'm just talking about a lot of artists that makes pretty good a show. Um, these people was doing it when they wasn't making holler enough to get back home, but they kept doing it. And I mean, being with her, she taught me a lot. I learned a lot. I heard a lot. I learned a lot about being who you are, no matter what stage it was. I can remember we went to Montreal, Canada for the Montreal Jazz Festival. And they were saying we had sound check that morning and we was on the main stage, the Angelics, that is. And they said they were expecting about 20,000 people. And I thought it was a joke because I said, the Angelics, 20,000 people. And what we're going to do that's different, that gonna, and Babe went out there, sung just like she was at the James Brown Arena in Augusta, did her set, talked to the people like, because most of those folks speak French over there. So I mean, when I said she destroyed Montreal, and she had 2 shows on the main stage, the big stage, and George Benson was following us next, and it was like chaos. I mean, she and that taught me, be who you are. That's what the people paying you be. She didn't deviate from what she do and how she is on stage, and it showed me about being a professional at what you do and not trying to be anyone else no matter what. And their music might not have been as fancy as the Clouds or anything, but groups like the Angelics and the Nightingales, they used to stay overseas singing. People loved them, and that's the things I learned from her, and just being able to be around her and her presence and the respect that all the groups had for her. Sometimes she was the only female artist on a big card with the big boys, and they respected her. And she would do her thing, and she gone off stage. So I thank God for the Angelics and the teaching I got with them.
So what did you play with them?
Drums. I started playing drums, and then Daryl Richmond was the bass player. Daryl Richmond and his brother used to play drums, but I guess his brother quit, and they was looking for a drummer. So it started off, I was supposed to just do a weekend. I ended up that weekend, they called me back with about 2 weeks later, and I ended up taking the job. And I went places, man, I never thought I would go with the Angelics. And I ended up started singing background when Daryl left and went with Charles Johnson. He started singing with Charles Johnson and being the bus driver. So I ended up being the drummer and singer, and that's when Scott came in to play bass for the Angelics.
Wow. So what else?
Yeah. Scott played everything, but he wouldn't teach me nothing. He learned everything first, but I had to learn on my own. Yeah. But yeah, Scott played everything. Now he came in a few times when Daryl's dad played organ for the Angelics, but mainly when Daryl left, he came in and played bass.
That's why y'all so good. Y'all can play everything.
Man, everybody said, well, how did you learn everything? I said, when my daddy raised that scrap, you caught on. But he taught us how to play, but he played nothing.
Wow.
He played absolutely nothing. But man, he was a genius when it comes to the stage, and some stuff that me and him used to get into in rehearsal about about, I would see the keynotes come on stage wide open, and we'll get in rehearsal. I'm like, nobody come out all smooth and stuff like that. Man, Willie, those come out like this. And he said, yeah, that would work if you sang what Willie sang. You sang it in a small church. He said, you sang it in a church hold by 200 people. Willie sang in thousands. Yeah. Yeah. So, that was a humbling moment, but that's the stuff, man. And my mom was a great singer too, man. She was bad too. So, but that's how it was. We was taught to learn it all.
Yeah, with no direction.
None. Just do it. And I want it to sound like this. Older people, I want you to sound a certain way, but they trying to tell you with their mouth. And you be like, what you saying? See, you supposed to be ding, 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 ding. What? Oh, you can't play like you say you can. Then they get mad with you. You can't play like you say you can. You can't pick up on that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, how long were you with your family group?
Wow, all the way. When my dad got sick, I think his first real major stroke that kind of put him down was in 2002. And I was just talking about this a few weeks ago. We was in St. Matthews, and that was his last program. I want to say that was in 2004. So I was with them until 2004. Now the Legends I was with them, but the thing, my dad didn't play you with him and playing and sing with everybody else. He was just that way. Now, it's some groups that he did let us go help that he knew for a long time. Little Harp and Soul Disciples, the All in the Family, the Spiritual Lights, the Singing Angels, who is now the Anointed Angels out of Columbia. He let us help them when these groups was rebuilding. But as far as I've always been a meditation, all the way up until he quit singing in 2003. He just gave it 2004. I mean, that was his last program, and he was done. But he wasn't singing much anyway because he couldn't really move or anything or talk. So, yeah.
Would y'all do a program?
Well, we what?
Would y'all do a reunion program?
Well, I don't know. Pat really don't care for singing like that anymore. So, she helped us out a few weeks ago, but she ain't really care about that. And it's hard to do a reunion program because we really don't have.
Oh, somebody probably called him.
Living. Some of them still living. So Miss Sarah in Sumter, Trish, she's still in Columbia. So some of them are still living, but the majority of the members of that group is passed and gone.
Okay, so how did the Gospel Legends come about?
Wow. Now, well,
and where y'all get that name from?
I'm about to tell you all of that. So the we was home. I know I had been about 11 or 12, and Anthony Austin called and asked us, would me and Scott come with him, and he got another musician. They had a birthday celebration, and they wanted some singing at the celebration. I've seen Chris Jacobs before because he played with Lil Harp and the Soul Disciples, but I didn't know him like that. So Anthony Austin came and picked me and Scott up, and we went to the church called Faith Open Charity. That's where the group was organized, in Faith Open Charity. And a birthday celebration. Matter of fact, I can remember we didn't Amp actually led, or did Amp lead or Chris led? The first time we got together, me, Scott, and Amp done background, but Chris led some. I can't even remember the song. And that night after the birthday thing, we just stayed in touch. And sometimes when my family group wasn't singing, we'll go to Faith Open Charity and just, because over there we could play loud. We couldn't do that with Daddy, but we could play loud over there. So we would be over there, and it just started, and this is why we can't really pinpoint the years, because we never thought of nothing going on. And then my cousin moved back from New York. He moved down with us from New York, and he had the name. He was a clown, the Living Legends, and I think he really got the name from one of Willie Banks' album titles, The Legend Lives On. So he was always big on Willie Banks. So he said, man, we're going to call ourselves the Living Legends. So, yeah, this is the truth. So we sung until when he left, we changed it. We changed the name to the Gospel Legends. And like I said, the four that started it was Chris Jacobs, Anthony Austin, Scott Pringle, and me. We was the four, and then others came afterwards and joined in, and we did our first recording. Our first recording was, I want to say, back in 97 or 96. It probably was before that. It probably about 95 or 94. We did our first recording at my cousin's house. That never came out, but that was the first thing, and members came and left, but we had a hard time when we step out and start saying we was the Gospel Legends with some of the older groups, because boy, they were laying us. And because so many knew my father real well, they would say, do Pringle know about this? Pringle know you? And Clay Graham told me one time, I got socks older than you. You talking about a Gospel Legend. So this is, we went through it, but they would say, I think you can go far if you change your name. I think y'all can change your name. Y'all will go. And I said, no, I'm not changing the name. And I said, because it's a lot of mighties and stars out there. And ain't nobody come against that, because y'all definitely no star. Ain't no mighties, nothing. You know what I'm saying? You call yourself that. So, and I said, two, our name is just a reflection of what we was brought around. The older groups, and we feel our style of singing reflects a lot of the Slim and Supreme, Major Jackson, there, William Brothers. Just reflects that hard quartet sound. And when we started explaining it, then they got it. But some of them they didn't care for it. But it's all right. They didn't want us calling ourselves that. Y'all ain't no legends, and now they don't even call us Gospel Legends. They just said the Legends. So how ironic is that now? So hey, God is good. He do all things well. So it's a name that we felt that there ain't too many people gonna copy that name and get confused on who the Gospel Legends are.
Who did y'all do y'all first recording with? Major recording?
The major or just the one that we actually went into a studio and record, and not at somebody's house with an 8-track machine thing. So the first studio recording we did was with Fred Shaw in Quimby, South Carolina. He was doing Doc and the Williams Sisters and all of them back then. But our first major recording, we recorded it with Ray Braswell, and it was with MCG and Humility. It was a double contract with MCG and Humility Records, the Transition Project. That was the first national record that we did.
How did y'all get discovered by them?
Now, see, we was doing a lot of concerts with Williams Brothers and Lee at the time, and Walter, that used to be the road manager for the Williams Brothers. They had a thing going around on the East Coast, the Cooling Water tour thing. And we talked to Walter, letting us open up, and Glenn Stevenson, James Bullock sometime would be at the concerts, and they saw us. They was following us, and it took some years, but they was following us, and
You went out again. And when you come back, you got to start back over.
okay. So we was doing these little tours with Lee and the Williams brothers, and sometimes George Dean and Doc, and we will always be, able to do these concerts with Slim. Slim will book us too, and at this time, Slim, Gospel 4, Doc, all of them was on Humility Rep. I'm not Humility, but MCG.
Right.
And Glenn Stevenson was a PR person for and a talent scout for MCG at the time. And we would be on these concerts and we would talk to them, but we never like hound for a record deal or anything like that. So when we recorded the Transition record, we talked to him, said we had a record coming out, and he listened to it, and they liked it, and then they took it. Him and Mr. James Bullard, and the record was doing well, but it really took off when we did the DVD in Memphis, Tennessee. It really took off for us when we did the DVD. So that was the first national, what they say, major recording that we did, was the Transition project.
Were you nervous a little bit?
Not at all. Not at all. No. No, well, it's like an out of body experience when I sing. I don't a lot of stuff I don't even remember. So I don't get nervous because I pray before I go up there, and I guess the nerves I pray the nerves away. So I don't get nervous because I don't have nothing planned, that I'm not expecting nothing but God to do what he need to do. So I don't expect Alan to do nothing. I don't ever expect him to show up. I expect God to show up. So yeah, I don't I don't really get nervous because I've been doing it so long. Since I've been 3 years old, I've been on stage. So, and I'm 49 now. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I know your brother always said, man, I don't never know what he's gonna do. He said you get a different Alan every single night.
Hey man, because hey, I don't know. It just I really move off the spirit and feeling. I don't believe every night God have the same songs and message for every audience. Right. So I move where he want me to move. And when he give me that feeling, that's where I move. I move right with him.
I knew you didn't have good sense when y'all was in Jacksonville, Florida, last year before last, and y'all had to sing for them dignitaries, and you started shouting them folks.
When we sung for the city council. Yeah.
I said, this man no kill.
Hey, I believe they was trying. Now they was trying to fight it at first. They were trying to fight it. They didn't want to move. They didn't want to. They didn't want to have church. They was in they nice clothes. But hey, man, hey, what in you got to come out? You have to come out. So yeah, we went on to have church. Yeah, you was there. I remember. Yeah, at that I don't know, it was an opera house or something like that. Theater, something like that. It wasn't real nice. I know that, yeah. But they came in there and they was kind of up here. So hey, it's time.
You don't went out on me again. Is you on the Wi-Fi?
Who, yours?
No, there's your Wi-Fi going out.
That ain't my Wi-Fi. I'm telling you.
So when you on stage, you take it very, very, very seriously because we was in Murder. I think Ways of Praise, and I mean y'all had done killed bad. And by the time you got off stage, you was still getting on the groove.
And you know, I know a lot of people watches me and be like, "Oh man, I couldn't play for Ellen, this and that." But just understand that when I know what to expect from you, and I know what you can do,
Right.
God don't want no less, and I don't either.
Right.
I'm gonna give you my all, and if you uphill, you're gonna give your all too.
You're right.
And that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's a lot of nights. I go on stage, don't feel well. A lot of nights I don't. I'm tired because majority of the time the program started at 3 and we're coming on at 11.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of times to be that way, but you have to honor if you had 250 something people in there and only 50 stayed, they stayed. So give them what they stayed for.
Right.
Don't shortchange them. They stay there all night waiting on you. And that's the way I see everything. And if I see you back there slacking, hey,
that's what it is.
It is what it is. And that's the way we've been raised.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it was when we played for other groups.
Right.
And not just that, I'm not the only one. I have been on stage and everybody have their signals. All these singers have their signals on when you're not doing right. I used to see Tommy Ellison. It'd be so smooth. Come on, Sham. Come on, Franklin. He give me what you do every night. Don't slack tonight. And I'm just old school like that. So a lot of people probably can't take playing for me, but that's cool. That's all right too. Hey. It's just I'm passionate about it, and it took a lot for the gospel legend to get to where they at. The people don't know the half, and not just us. A lot of groups, they don't know what we go through on this road. And every chance we get that we can get up there, God gave us another chance to do it. Let's do it. Let's give it to him. I don't care. We had a flat. We was broke down for 6 hours, but we made it. Let's work. Let's work for God while we're here.
Yeah, we here. So,
yeah, we here. We made it.
Have you ever had to play for the group, or you just always sung?
No, let me tell you, I was the drummer, and at one time, that's all I did. I didn't even sing. I just played drums. We had they had a revival at the church, FA Open Charity, and they had what you call the prayer line. And when they do the prayer line, anybody can sing a song. Usually the musicians, we would take over and sing a song while they praying for people laying hands and stuff. And one night, everybody, I think Chris had a toothache or something, and they was like, man, somebody got singing, and Pastor Jacob was waiting on somebody to start singing. So I got the mic, and they had a tall bass cabinet. So I stood behind the bass cabinet and led the gospel keynote, This Heart of Mine. And everybody was like, man, and the church started building. And everybody was looking like, who's that singing? And I was hiding behind the amp singing. And the church was tore up. So Scott was like, well, whenever we sing, I'll do something. Man, you need to do the drive, man. So I started doing that. And after about 2 times, I looked around, I'm singing everything. But Scott and Chris Jacobs are the original lead singers. Yeah, Scott, yeah. They the original lead singers. But I don't know how I ended up in the front, but it happened. It happened.
I can't see Scott leading no song.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Scott, man. Well, you know, if anybody that known us majority of our life, you would have thought Scott should have been the lead singer because when my daddy used to call me to sing, I get up there and sing like I ain't wanted to be there. But Scott used to make me so mad because I knew when we get in the van or going back home, you got to hear all night. Boy, that Scott be in it. Scott doing all the hand gestures and stuff. And I'd be standing there like I don't even want to be there. And I used to be so mad because Scott used to go get it. Scott, like he do now on guitar. Scott, I mean on bass, Scott used to play lead guitar for the group. Mm-hmm. Man, Scott would go out there, man, and turn the church out with just guitar. With just, I mean, sometimes it was just me and him. We didn't have a bass player. And tear the church down, him on guitar. And he always been into it. But now he acts so professional, like he can't move back there. And a lot of times you see, and this is what I'm saying when I know what you can do. I said, man, y'all let me know when y'all want to be pros and I'll stay home. When you want to be professional, I'll stay home. When y'all too cute to move. So, but everybody would have thought Scott would have been the lead singer because he always been the go-getter.
Wow. I got to show you something. Let me see if this ring a bell. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Hey, man, one thing I remember about this picture, it was so cold out there. It was so cold. Look this. Hey, man, that was 3 matches. Oh, man. Well, Regina Gibson, she's still living. Trish, everybody in that group everybody's still living, but the 2 men. My dad at the top, like he hanging on the crawl. And James Cease and Clarence Tyler. Yeah, if you know Jacoby Gunner, that's his granddaddy. Okay. Man. Yeah, that's his grandfather, Clarence Tyler. Both of them was the lead guitar player. Scott was on bass and I was on drum.
Boy, you were bad.
Man, God brought me from a long way. Y'all don't know. Woo, boy. Yeah. They fussed at us about 10 minutes. Me and Scott, because we were so cold, they got us on them butterfly collars. Got us on there look like some young Jews. but we were fashion. We was fashion. Look at that. We was fashion. Yeah, man. 3 matches. Yes. I was that was in 84. I was 8 years old. Played that entire album.
And how old was Scott?
Scott was 12.
And he in the comments, he said, take that picture down.
Nope. If I gotta look at it, you do too. Hey, just tell him God brought him from a long way.
And what you played on the album?
Drums.
And what Scott played?
Scott played bass and song background.
So y'all had a full group.
Boy, it was bigger than that one time.
Yeah,
it was bigger than that.
Well, y'all had an ensemble.
Well, the women song, they the only one song. My daddy led, and the rest of them were musicians. Man, back then, if you had 2 guitar players, bass and drum, boy, that's a full set. Boy, if you had an organ or keyboard player, boy, that was a luxury. Only ones had that back then was the Angelica Babe played in the Clouds.
Did y'all do a lot of traveling with the meditation?
They did. But by the time they put that reverend in the front, Daddy was pastoring. And that singing was what he loved to do, but that preaching was his calling. So we traveled some, but nothing like before he started pastoring. I mean, it was like we will only travel on fifth Sundays because that's the only Sunday he took off.
So he wouldn't do no Saturdays?
I mean, he would do those if he can get back to church, but he wasn't missing no church for to go nowhere to sing. That just, he was an AME pastor, so just kill our ambition to go on. But that's why we broke off and started doing our own, and we had a lot of misunderstandings with the legends. But I was like, I mean, you don't want us to do nothing, but I mean, I don't live here anymore. So you can't tell me what to do. Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Y'all had a chance to travel with the Keynotes, right?
Yeah, I did for a short while. Scott played with the Keynotes close to a year, but I did it in moderation because it was just too much for me at the time. The Keynotes traveled, sometime didn't come back home for weeks. They didn't even go home, and it was just a little too much. Now Scott did it for about a year. He left the Legends for about a year and went with them. But yeah, it was a little too much for me. At that time, I was just in the streets doing whatever. But when Willie would call or they needed me to come, I would come and play. But I never been with a group as long, other than my dad group in the Legends, than the Angelics. Like I would, if someone knew that I played, and that's rare because I never like just played for everybody. But if Willie would say, son, I need you, I would play for him. Matter of fact, I almost missed the program playing for Willie. His last anniversary he had at the Greater Cold Center in Charlotte. We had to sing, and I went up there to play for the Angelics, and I did, and we were supposed to leave. And Willie said, son, I need y'all to play. I don't have no keyboards. And I told Scott, come on, let's play for him. And I'm glad we did, because that was our last time seeing him. He died. That was in December. He died January 10th. Wow. So yeah. So that thing and in the Keynotes, when I say they have always been good people, and not just them. I got to say the Pilgrim Jubilees. A lot of the groups really took us under their wing, and and I a lot of that had to do with my father too. They knew him, and he used to book a lot of them groups. And whenever they was in town, he'll go see them. And now they didn't make it easy for us. Don't get me wrong, but they poured into us on Tommy Ellison, Slim Howard. These people are funny. I mean, when you think about it, you laugh at a lot of stuff they say, but I mean, they was preparing us for the road, and
froze up again. You got to get you some better internet, man.
Man, I don't need no internet, man. I'm on my phone, and I got all my balls. I think that's on your end because I keep hearing a ding.
Let me see. Let me put mine on do not disturb. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, your picture went out. Oh, there you go. So how did you get history like with Lil Roy and Revelation? How you met them guys? Hello, testing 1 2, mic check.
You all right?
Your picture froze. I don't see you moving.
Well, that's happened when you start touching stuff.
I was asking you, how was it like meeting? How did you and Roy meet each other? Like, how y'all grew up knowing each other? How?
Man, boy, let me tell you, Roy parents, Mr. Reverend Latson and his mom. My mama used to go to Roy's grandmama house to visit them when we were small. Um, Roy parents knew my parents before we was born. Roy father um, used to go and run errands for my mom when she was pregnant with me. We were staying in Hopkins then before I was born. Um, and it just go way back, man. It go way back, man. And you know, Reverend Latson has always been what I say. He always had a good spirit. He always been energetic and vibrant every time you see him. Hey, brother Allen, how you doing? You know, he always been like real vibrant. And I credit the Latsons because Roy called me one day to go with them to a program, to ride with him, and I was riding on the van with them. And Reverend Latson and Mrs. Latson called me in the house and said, Alan, come here, let me talk to you for a second. And I was like, what I done? And you know, they was the first to tell me that they noticed a change in my mama. She was having dementia, but we didn't pay me. I didn't. Let me say me. I didn't notice, and they was saying you might need to go get a check because they call my mama you know, she know what she's talking about. And that's when we found out that, you know, she had dementia. But that's just how our families are. You know, we always been close. Me and Roy always laugh because when his dad used to come get me to teach him and Reynard how to play guitar and bass, I was always tell Reverend Latson to come on, and knew I didn't do my chore cutting grass. And so I was hoping Reverend Latson to get there for my dad to get home, but he always get there after that, and he had to wait for me to cut grass to go with them. But man, I can truly say, man, I've seen Roy, Reynard, how they always wanted to do this. And I do believe like they watched us, me and Scott, do it, and they was always tell me, man, we're gonna be like, I ain't gonna say my nickname on here, but and Scott, you know, they wanted to be the brothers that come out and they did it. I've always been a fan of Revelation, Roy and Revelation. The first time I saw them, well, the first time we was on their anniversary, I didn't even know they had a group. But we was on the anniversary. We had to sing early because we had another concert. And everybody stayed said, you should hear Roy them. They pretty good. But nobody like in the Columbia area or anywhere was booking them. And I mean, I guess they were like me. I didn't know they had a group or ever heard them. And I didn't hear them that night. But I booked them on my anniversary one year. And they came up second or third. And man, the group that had to come behind them, whoo, man, they was amazing, and they was real young. King George was playing bass for them then, so this was way back, man, and to see even the Mickens, you know, I've known Reverend Mickens them, you know, a long time, even when Justin those was just singing. And Reverend Mickens' brothers was the musicians. And it used to be a good little bit of them on stage too, because they had the Justin, Jamie, and Colton on one mic. Then they had the rest of the brothers singing. And to see them, that how they have evolved and kept going. And I'm just glad that South Carolina, man, you know, we have a lot of great groups. Flossie, Boyd Johnson, she's doing the McDuffies. These groups that I've known, a lot of people don't know with Flossie. Flossie, when she started singing, she had her aunts and sisters, and it was called Flossie and the Singing Sisters. We were the musicians that helped them come back out, playing behind Flossie. So a lot of these people that I'm glad that I can see that God has blessed them in their ministry, and we all from South Carolina. So the Latsons, you know, I owe a lot to them because even now, if something I'm contemplating or ask questions, it's just like my own blood brother. Roy's one of the first people I call to ask, you know, what you think, and vice versa. He do the same with me. Man, what you think? Even with anniversary, we call each other. What you think? And I thank God for that, man. And it ain't nothing can come between us. Now we don't have our fallouts, but that's life. Shoot, me and Scott don't have fallout. I mean, recently, but but that's my brother, and it happens, you know. Yeah, we all human, so it's gonna happen. But I appreciate that man. I mean, he's a brilliant young fella, man, and I appreciate him, and the Latson family, man. They blood couldn't make us any closer.
Gotcha. Let me check some of these comments. Make sure I ain't missing nothing.
You still got me on here. Wow. You got me.
You were gonna get so much into it. I knew it was gonna run an hour.
Oh.
So what's new for the Gospel Legends? What you got?
Hey, look at here. Now this coming Friday, July the 4th, while y'all cooking catfish and ribs and all of that, I want you to go download. This is not just a song. This is
Went out again.
There you go, type it. This Friday, Jesus is the Man. Gospel Legends coming out this Friday. I want all of you to go out and just support this project. It took a while to come out because we did one DVD. They say it was too dark. So we've been back and forth for about 2 or 3 years with this record, but it's finally coming out Friday. So you have 2 days. Set it. That's it right there. It is coming. Jesus is the Man. It's coming July 4th, Independence Day. And if you feel free to download this record. And we will have some hard copies this weekend. We will be on Doc McKenzie's 60th anniversary this coming Saturday. Be there and be on time.
It'll be on time.
Be on time. Remember I said that. Be on time.
Yeah.
This coming Saturday, we'll be there. And this coming Sunday, we'll be in Martinsville, Virginia, Sunday. And this is actually where the actual CD was recorded, was in Martinsville, Virginia. We'll be there, and you can get firsthand the hard copies of Jesus is the Man. You know, some people like me, I still like hard copies because, you know, it's more of a souvenir thing now, and I can still play it, you know, here at the house. So I want you to go out and get it, man. We put our heart into this project, and we hope it bless you.
So who the current members of the Gospel Legends now?
Well, the current members are Scott Pringle, Brent Snell, Brian Nico Dexter, Ray Braswell, Mark Davis, Chris Collier, Alan Pringle, and Will Pringle.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You plan on doing another album after this one? Or you don't know yet?
Well, you know, I gotta give Malaco 2 records after this, but you know, we have a record that never been released at the studio. It's a studio record. So, but God giving me songs and stuff everyday ideas. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep going until God let me know, you know, it's time for you to do something else in ministry, and that's what I do. And that definitely ain't preaching, but they say when quartet singers stop singing, they go preaching. So that will not be me. No, that would not be me. No, but I say like Harvey, it's in my heart. I'll be serving the Lord now. Yeah, I definitely be doing that. But yeah, yes, sir.
How was it like signing with Malachi? Was that like a dream come true?
Well, let me say this, and I'm gonna be blunt. This was about a 10-year thing that 10-year thing that was in the making. Malachi was supposed to have the Rest in Easy project. They were supposed, because we left Humility, but we ended up signing back with Humility for some I won't say why, but and Glenn Stevenson, he has been more than just the owner of the label. He's a friend. We still talk to this day. We still friends to this day. And signing with Malachi was a dream, because being a child, my favorite group, the Keynotes, they was on Malachi. Jack Southern Nails, a lot of groups, the Truthettes, and I always thought the Malachi sound was like one of the top sounds ever for gospel. Period. And I thank God to be a part of history. It is history. They're one of the long survival gospel labels out now. They outlast some of the greats. But that would make them great. Also, that they're still around and still putting out gospel records and still putting out #1 gospel records for people. So that says a lot. So I pray that everything moves forward smoothly with us. I know that it will. I'm trusting God that everything, this was in His design for us to be here at this moment. So we're glad, and we're gonna rock with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if you could give yourself, your younger self, a piece of advice, what would it be?
My young self, a piece of what would it be? Boy, it's so much. It's so much. I think try not to move so fast. Don't rush into things without thinking and praying over it. I did a lot of things, and it's one thing I did. And I wasn't too young, but it to this day it still bothers me because of the money that I lost in it, and making a life-changing decision for a temporary moment, a temporary problem. And that's what I would take your time, move slow, because you will have time to be grown. And now I'm grown and I don't want to be grown. I was like, used to tell my parents, man, I can't wait to get out this house. I'm gonna stay out all night.
You're right.
and I'm gonna do what I want to do. But they let you learn that you can't do that, and you work a job and keep a roof over your head. You got to get some sleep. You're not gonna do that.
No.
You're not, all of that stuff. They knew, but they let you talk and say that. If they didn't hit you in the mouth, but they'll let you say that. But they knew better. And just like with my kids, I tell them now, don't rush to be grown. There's no do-overs. There's no going back. You only be a child up to 18.
Yeah, that's it.
And everything after that, You grown. You on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing jumping out there. And like I said, I was put out at 17 because I thought I was grown. Thought I knew everything. And little thing when I finally got an apartment and thought I was, taking for granted what you had at mom and dad house, and brought all this grocery and realized I didn't even have no pots, nothing to cook it in. That stuff that you just take for granted that you had at home. And I know that might not mean nothing to nobody else, because I didn't think of that. I brought all that grocery and had no spoon, no nothing. So I would say, man, take your time, man. God will let you move in the time that you need to. And he would definitely do it.
There it is, then. In close, what you got for the folks?
Hey, like I said, on Friday, go get this record. Jesus is the Man by the Gospel Legends. Friday. Whoa, I'm about to mess up. But
Right.
Saturday, if you want hard copies, and you come into Doc McKenzie anniversary, you can get them there. And Martinsville, Virginia, if you're gonna be there this coming Sunday, get it. Man, I appreciate the interview, and I want to encourage anybody that's on here that sing with groups, quartet groups, or anything. Let me tell you something. You might feel like you're not moving as fast as you should, or like you want. Mm-hmm. I'm a living witness. Stay on the course, stay on the path, and it'll happen. It's a lot of reasons why, we don't move as fast as we think. Sometimes God hold us back until we really ready. And I'm one of the ones that I can tell you that I've been through the fire to get to where I'm at, but I thank God for that. And I don't try to outsing nobody. I don't try to out promote nobody, because everything I do is in God's hand. Mm-hmm. Put it in God's hand, and He opened the doors. And I'm telling you, God has blessed me and the Gospel Legends to the point, that we just sing and God do the increase. And I'm telling you, I want to encourage you that God hasn't forgotten you and your group. You all are going to be just fine. Just keep doing it. Keep having a standard for your ministry, and keep having the respect for yourself and your group. And I'm telling you, you'll go far. God will bless you. And when He bless you, ain't nothing nobody can do about it.
That's it.
Yes, sir. So thank you again, Mr. Richard, for having me. I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. Hey, well, at least you can't say, boy, we burying Allen. He ain't never came on my show. Hey, I did it. Yes. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. God bless all of y'all. I see y'all soon.
All right, you have a good one, bro. Alan Pringle, ladies and gentlemen, give him a great big hand. Big hand. Well, we have made it to another edition of Let's Have a Conversation. Coming to Dr. McKenzie and the highlights anniversary on Saturday. I'm telling you, you want to get there early, because it's not going how you think it's going to go. So you might want to get there before the doors open. It's going to be one to remember. Matter of fact, let me get the flyer information for y'all 1 second so you can get there early. 1 second, y'all, bear with me. Okay. It will start at 4 o'clock, and y'all might want to get there at least by 3. Highway QC's Gospel Legends, Royal Relations, Swan Quintet, Flossie Boyd and Fable, the Singing Angels, the McDuffies, Be More Than Gifted, the Brooklyn All-Stars, Sent by God, David and the Bells of Joy. This will be at the Ambassador for Christ and Deliverance Family Worship Center in Old Atlanta, South Carolina. And you will want to get there early, because you just get there. I promise you, you're gonna want to get there before you miss something. So I would highly recommend getting there at 3 o'clock if you can. If not, just try to get there at least by 4 o'clock because the lineup is gonna be a little bit different. It'll be well worth it. But until then, y'all have a great night, and we will catch y'all on the next one. I'll get that with y'all, let y'all know what else we have coming up next. But until then, we will see y'all when we see y'all.